Hello and welcome to the Giraffe Social Media Podcast. It's what social media managers are talking about. I'm Laura and today I'm joined by the lovely Tyler and the lovely Christy.
Hi.
Hello.
Coming up on this week's episode, we'll be doing a quickfire social media quiz and we'll be discussing 5 tips to get on the TikTok For You page along with a new video call update from LinkedIn. Stick around to the end of the show where we'll be answering some of your burning DMs. So before we get started, let's just do a little check-in. How are you both? How's your week been so far?
Yeah, my week's been good. How about you guys?
Yeah, all good. Just busy. Full steam ahead.
Full steam ahead. Yes, that's what we like. No, cool. So I'm going to get us started by running a little quiz. So basically it will be true or false answers. I've got 5 questions. So I'll start by reading the first one out and you can tell me whether you think the statement is true or false. So Twitter has around 330 million active users. True or false?
I would say more. I hate these kinds of questions because I don't know. I cannot visualize that many people. I have no idea how much that is. I would say more. So false.
I'm gonna go with true, just to throw a spanner in the works.
So you're going true, Tyler and Christy, you're going false. The answer is true. There are 330 million active users. So,
on, Tyler.
Well done. Next question. Instagram is less popular than YouTube.
Oh,
Good
I'm gonna go
question.
false. I think Instagram.
Yeah, I'm gonna sorry. I'm gonna agree with you, Tyler. I'm gonna say that Instagram. I would say it's pretty close though.
Okay, so it is true. Instagram is in fact less popular than YouTube.
What?
I know, I was quite stunned.
Oh my goodness.
I was quite stunned by that too.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting.
Next question. Facebook, Instagram and Twitter are the 3 most popular social networks in the world. True or false?
Oh, that's a tricky one. Because if YouTube is more popular than Instagram, then it might be false.
Yeah, I like your thinking, Tyler. I like
That is good thinking.
Gotta
That
think
is strategically.
I'm gonna say false. Something tells
Yeah.
me that LinkedIn's quite high up.
And TikTok as well,
Yeah, of course.
I would say. So I'm going to go false. I'll go false as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are right. False. So according to the article I read, Facebook, YouTube and WhatsApp are the most popular.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. I wouldn't have
Interesting.
considered. Why wouldn't I have considered that a social platform? Of course it is.
I know. It is. It's one of those things, isn't it? That, like, because it doesn't have like it's not the conventional social media platform.
Yeah.
Because it's But yeah.
Interesting.
Okay. Next question. Facebook is a lot more popular than Snapchat.
Oh, I don't know about this one. Because
I
Snapchat is younger, but Facebook has got an older audience. So it's like, is there more young people or older people?
I'm going to say that Facebook is more... I can't remember the way the question was worded, so I can't remember if this is a true or false, but I'm going to say that Facebook is more popular than Snapchat.
Yes. Yeah, you go with that as well.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, Facebook is a lot more popular than Snapchat.
Yeah.
So well done.
I feel like that could have been different a few years ago when Snapchat, everyone was like on Snapchat all the time. You had like those 400-day streaks. Do you remember those days?
They're best friends.
Yeah.
Oh. So the fifth and final question is, the world's top 25 social networks have 8.5 billion active users combined. True or false?
Oh. Isn't that more... I'm going to sound so silly here. Isn't that more than the world population? No. Am I wrong?
Yeah, but people having like more
Multiple.
than one platform. Yeah.
Oh, like more than... Oh, that makes sense. See?
I'm gonna say false. I think that there's maybe even more than that, because I think most people, if they're on one social platform, they're probably on like 4 or 5.
It's good logic.
I'm going to go
yeah.
true. Just to throw a spanner in the works again.
Cool. So the answer was false. There are actually 13.5 billion active users on those
Oh my
25 top platforms combined.
Goodness.
That's crazy.
I know. Honestly, you wouldn't think.
How
Wow.
interesting.
Obviously, you thought it, Christy, but for me, when I was researching this, I was like, "Whoa, that is a lot of active users on those accounts."
Yeah.
Completely. Interesting. Okay.
Well, thank you very much for participating in the quiz. So we're now going to move on to our main segment of this week's episode, where we're going to be discussing our 5 top tips to get on the TikTok For You page. So just to provide a little bit of context for the listeners, as you already may know, TikTok originally launched back in 2017 and exploded into a viral platform at the end of 2019, early 2020. It's currently more focused on individual content creators and casual users as opposed to big brands. However, using TikTok as a business is obviously a really great way to get your brand's content, products, and or services in front of a wider audience. So the TikTok For You page essentially acts as an explore hub of the app, and each user's For You page looks different. That being said, I know often, I don't know if you found this, girls, when I'm around people or friends that are on TikTok, we quite often see the same content appearing on our For You page, whether that just means we've got the same interest or whether it's a coincidence because we're in close proximity. I don't know, but it happens quite a lot to me.
Yeah, completely. I find the same.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. I have exactly the
Yeah.
same thing.
Yeah, it's strange, isn't it? But clever as well. So TikTok is probably most loved for its in-depth and accurate algorithm, which recommends content for each user based on a variety of different factors, including interactions, so anything like comments, likes, shares, accounts you follow, content you create, to video information, so anything from captions and hashtags, sounds, all of that. And also, which I didn't realise, your device and account settings. So, for example, like your language preferences, country setting, device type, that kind of thing. So the curated content is then shown up on your For You page, the main page, when you open the app. So I just wanted to ask you before we sort of get into the top tips, do you find that your TikTok For You page is adequately tailored to your content interests? I personally find I get on and off days. Like generally I find it like it's content that I like and I recognize that it's content that I've engaged with previously. But there are some days when I get some content show up that I think, why is this on my For You page? And I quite often see like on video comments when people will be like, why is this on my For You page? So I don't know if sometimes TikTok just throws in a bit of new content every now and then to see if the user likes it or engages with it so that it can show more of that. But yeah, what do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, I actually don't really, because of similar reasons to what you said, Laura, I don't really use my For You page. Like, I don't really find that it's stuff that I'm that interested in. And I wonder if it's because, I don't really know how it works in that, like, is it maybe because I don't spend a lot of time on my For You page that it doesn't show very relevant things to me? But normally I will like search, you know, I'll go to the explore the search page to sort of find more relevant content that way. But yeah, I'm kind of the same opinion. Like for me, it doesn't necessarily show stuff. I mean, yeah, like you said, on and off days for sure. Sometimes I do see stuff that I'm like, okay, yeah, that's relevant to me. But a lot of the time I do find myself just searching for what I want to watch rather than finding it on my For You page. But I didn't know about the fact it takes into account your account settings. That's really interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is really interesting. I would probably say from my perspective, I always have relatable content on my For You page, but I think it's because I don't want to admit this, but I spend so much time on TikTok. Like the app is completely tailored to like all the content that obviously, is targeted towards me for whatever reason. But I found recently that it's content that is definitely targeted to me, but I'm kind of not interested in seeing it anymore. Which I find quite strange, is that obviously, TikTok, the algorithm has obviously been like, cool, Tyler likes to watch, dance videos, let's show her more dance videos. And then I'm kind of like at the point now where I'm like, okay, like I've seen enough of this like specific trend or like this specific style of video, and I'm kind of like, I want to see something different. But still, every single day I'll open my For You page and it's similar content all the time. So I think it's interesting that obviously like it targets, based off of like what you like or what you comment on, or maybe even like pages that you follow specifically to you. But yeah, I'm kind of at the point now where I'm like, I want to see something different. Like, I'm tired of seeing all of the same stuff over and over again.
Yeah, I feel that. I think obviously our For You pages are tailored to us, but when does it get to the point where, we change, in a sense, we change what content we want to see. So is the content going to reflect that we see, or do we have to then start engaging with that type of content more, finding that content, actively searching for it, looking at hashtags or the sounds or filters, effects, all of that? Yeah, I think it is definitely, I find the same thing as you, Tyler. Like, there's some things that come up that I think, right, I'd like to see something new now. For example, I don't know if you guys have seen it, the whole freezing honey trend, where people freeze honey. And obviously I'd watched a couple of videos because I was intrigued. And now every single time I go on TikTok, there's someone else doing it. And I'm like, I don't want to see that anymore. I'm through with that. Yeah. So
I feel like we're in the social media age where we have like such short attention spans. Yeah. It's what we've been trained to have. So now we'll like a bit of content for like a couple of days, or a trend for a couple of days. And suddenly it's like, no, we need something.
I don't want to see that anymore.
What social media is. Yeah,
completely.
Yeah. So, how exactly do you get onto the For You page, I hear you ask? Well, luckily I've got two of our brilliant TikTok creators with me today, as we've got some top tips to share with you that can help your brand or your client's brand reach the For You page. Now, Tyler, I know you've got a couple of top tips to start us off with, so why don't you go ahead?
Yeah, of course. So obviously in terms of, when it comes to creating your content, I think one thing that is very, very important is that you ensure that you're capturing it in a high quality kind of setting. Seeing a blurry video, I don't know about you guys, but there's nothing worse when you're scrolling through your page and you can see that this is like, it's a blurry video, the sound doesn't maybe mix well with it. You can't necessarily see what the person's doing or what the content's doing, and that, for instance, is one thing that will just completely turn me off of wanting to view more content from a specific creator or brand, and B, just interacting with it as well. Like, I think ensuring that your content is of high quality and producing in a high quality setting is very, very favorable, I want to say, to getting it on that For You page. And obviously, like we said about the algorithm and stuff, the TikTok algorithm it's a complex world, but I think it definitely favors high quality content, and it favors, people that are producing that, clear cut video, with high quality sound and everything to do with that. So I think one tip in particular to focus on is to ensure that you're producing your content to the highest quality possible. Whether that's investing in like a ring light or using a professional camera, or, even just ensuring that your phone quality, is good enough for the video that you're producing. I definitely think it's an important aspect that a lot of people might not necessarily forget, but I don't think everyone considers it, as something to be quite important. But definitely think that making sure you're keeping your content as good a quality as it possibly can be will definitely help in terms of getting you, you know, a little bit closer to being on the For You page for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah, and then obviously kind of if we look at, you know, TikTok is all about trends, and I think, like we mentioned with social media, like a trend can change overnight, and it's constantly changing, and it's constantly, you know, trying new things, and it pops up. I don't know about you guys, but I've noticed that a trend will pop up just completely out of the blue. And I'm like, where did that even come from? And you know, it's important with TikTok as a platform to jump on those trends, but I think it's also important to like put your own spin on things. And I found personally, like when we're producing content for our own TikTok page, you can obviously jump on a trend, but you know, adapting it to kind of the industry that you're working with, or like the product that you're presenting, and that kind of a thing can really like boost your content to a completely new level. So I think ensuring that, you know, whatever content or trend that you're kind of jumping on, whether it's a specific sound or like a specific dance trend or like a filter or an effect that you're using, just putting your own personal spin on it is a great way for you to differentiate yourself from, you know, everyone else who's kind of using that similar trend in that space, and also just ensuring that you are, you know, representing your brand and representing kind of whatever content you're wanting to create in the best way possible. So yeah, I definitely think that in particular is one thing that is very, very important to remember when it comes to creating TikTok content, is making sure that, you know, as much as you're doing it in a high quality kind of setting and ensuring that your content is of that high quality, also just making sure that, you know, whatever trend you're jumping on, you're having fun with it firstly, but also adapting it to what's relevant to you and your audience, and the kind of content that you're producing and creating as well. So yeah.
No, great tips. I think this sort of leads on to see not only does content need to be high quality, it also needs to be engaging as well. So I know, Christy, you've got a few sort of follow-on tips from that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it follows on actually nicely from Tyler, my first tip, which would be making sure you're creating content that's relevant to your industry. And I think the beauty of, like I said, this is following on nicely from Tyler, the beauty of TikTok is that so many trends you can incorporate into your own industry, and you can really change them and make them your own. Like I know at the moment my favourite trend is that, are you familiar with the that one,
yes.
Ask me a question.
Yes.
Love that one.
And I feel like those sorts of trends, I hope that the people watching without camera can imagine me doing that thing with
your hands. It's like 1 potato, 2 potato, 3 potato, 4.
Yeah, that like ask me a question, you know, that trend. And I feel like that's something that so easily could be made into, like, you can do that for any industry, or that it's a hard knock life trend. Like, so many of them you can incorporate into your own industry, and obviously that's such a good way to get engagement, because the people that are following you and the people that are going to see your content are those with similar interests most of the time. So it's so important to make sure that you're making content that's interesting for the people that are going to see it. And it seems like common sense, but it is something that's so important to remember. I know something that performs particularly well for us is like, and this actually was talked about a couple of podcasts ago, I think for Instagram, but it works so well on TikTok as well, like lists. So I think our best performing one recently was one that Chloe did. So it was 3 free content tool ideas. And it's such a simple concept. Just she just listed 3 tools that work well. But obviously people replay it, people screenshot it, people then share it with people, you know, share it or comment on it or like it to come back to it later. And that's exactly what you want, and it's the kind of thing that will end up getting you on the For You page. So I would say lists is also really, you know, it's a good thing to use, like we were saying a few podcasts ago. I would also say utilising relevant hashtags. Again, such a similar thing to Instagram, but using 1 or 2 of the bigger hashtags, so like the FYP For You page, those sort of hashtags. Obviously you've got so much competition, so there is no guarantee that anyone will really see it from that hashtag, but it also has the potential to skyrocket if skyrocket your content if it does pick up. But I think also using those more niche hashtags that don't have millions and millions of views, or only have very few millions, so people that are interested in your content, similar to the first point, will see it and they will pick up on it. And like I said, if you use those one or two bigger hashtags, it does have the potential to really skyrocket your content if it does hit the right part of the algorithm that we talked about being so complicated. So who knows if that will ever happen. It seems like it could happen to the most random bits of content. So yeah, I would say that they're my tips.
No, amazing. I think you're right as well, Christy. Anything like lists or that gives value to a user, they're obviously more likely to save it and go back to it. I know like my saved videos, majority of them are like animal videos. I'm like, I know I'm going to want to rewatch that when I'm feeling sad, so
yes.
I'm gonna save that because that gives me some value. Anything like recipes as well that I think, I might want to try that, like I'm saving that so I can go back to it. Any like, I don't know, like fitness tips, like I mean I can't do fitness, so I'm like, if I see something that looks quite simple, I'm like, I'll save that because I might do that one day. So yeah, I think it's great. And the same as well, like anything like tips, like if there's like marketing related accounts that crop up, and they do crop up and they provide value, like our TikTok, the Giraffe Social Media TikTok, provides value to other marketers or other social media managers. So more that kind of content is more likely to be saved by those people because they're going to go back to it at some point. Another sort of, the fifth and final tip is to improve your content accessibility. So you're more likely to get views and comments if you use the accessibility features in your videos. So anything like closed captioning and the text-to-text speech radar, as many users are hard of hearing or simply can't watch a video because of their settings they're in, so they might be watching it on mute or being in public, that kind of thing. I know that happens to me all the time when I'm watching a TikTok video where I'm in public or in a surrounding where I can't have the volume up full blast. So having the captions makes me watch the video. If it doesn't have captions and it's a sound that I need to listen to and I'm in public, then I'm probably going to scroll past it and not engage with it. So making sure that closed captioning and text to speech reader is on is really important. And also making sure that your screen visuals are not blocked by the video's caption or follow comment icons on the right hand side of the screen, which is another thing that really bugs me when I'm watching a TikTok. If there's something really important I need to be looking at or that I need to be reading and the caption is covering it or the like icon is covering it, then I get really annoyed. So definitely think about how you can improve your content accessibility. Will help you get onto that For You page. So amazing. Thank you girls for sharing your top tips. Hopefully that helps you or your clients' brands get on the For You page. We'd love to know if you have got on the For You page. So do let us know on our social platforms. We'd love to hear from you. Now it's time to dive into the top social media news story of the week. LinkedIn adds native video meeting option, facilitating enhanced connection in the app. So last week, LinkedIn very quietly rolled out a new native video option within its messaging platform, which provides obviously another way for users to connect without the need to download a separate video app. So for example, like Zoom or Teams, video interactions can happen on the platform itself. LinkedIn explained, from an initial job search to a one-to-one conversation, we wanted to drive the productivity of our members end to end while keeping them safe by adding video conferencing as part of the messaging experience. Members can connect virtually while maintaining the context of their existing conversation. Now members can easily schedule free video meetings with their network without the need to download a client or sign up to any service. So what do you guys think about this? I personally think it's It's a really good idea. I can't say it's something that I'd be overly fond of using because I feel like it almost seems a bit FaceTimey, which is obviously quite an in-person or informal thing that I do with my friends, whereas I see Zoom and Teams or Google Meets as more professional. But yeah, I don't know, guys. What do you think?
I wonder if it's almost too little too late after the whole year of everyone using Teams and Zoom, and everyone's got so comfortable on those platforms and everyone now knows the features. I wonder, like, after a year of that, and obviously in the pandemic it was I guess the most important time for it because nobody really was in the office. I wonder how comfortable people are going to be sort of transferring over to that rather than just using what they already know and what they're already comfortable with. I'm not familiar with like the features that it has. Like you said, Laura, it might be a bit informal. I don't really know, but I wonder if it has the features of Zoom and Teams. So I don't know. I think it is a good idea, and I think it is something that could be picked up on because, like they mentioned, it sort of keeps things in context of the conversation that was already being had. And yeah, I don't know. It's not something, like you said, it's not something I think that I'll be using, but I think it is a good idea overall, and it does keep people safe. From external links that could be sent out by unsavoury people. But I don't know.
I wonder if also it's kind of a good time in a way because perhaps there's people out there looking for jobs at this time, particularly after the pandemic. We've just entered a new financial year. Is it a good time for this to come out? Because whilst people are searching for jobs, does it give companies the opportunity to just have a video call with someone and not have to like have the email, are you free this time, this day, let's set up a Zoom call. Let's just kind of like, let's have a little chat on LinkedIn and just, I don't know, will it speed up that process? I do have quite a few questions about this one for sure. Tyler, what do you think?
I probably agree with you guys in a sense of, I find it quite interesting in terms of like job searching and stuff. So I know when it comes to, the whole like LinkedIn feature, and then when they originally introduced the fact that you could like apply directly on LinkedIn, and then like it makes it all a bit more easier for the employer to like integrate all of that into their systems and stuff, rather than having to, go to an external link or go to their kind of like job site or whatever. I think in terms of that, it's definitely a great feature to have because it just integrates all of that into LinkedIn. Like you said, Laura, like you can, organize a call directly on LinkedIn through the, whole application process. It makes it a bit more of an end-to-end process. But I definitely don't think for like everyday, team meetings, I don't think we, especially us as a team, I don't think we would adapt that to, going from what we're using now to then moving over to LinkedIn. Like I think it's definitely a feature that, will be helpful in some senses, but I don't think it's going to be as big as maybe what they're hoping. So yeah, it's an interesting one. I definitely think, like Christy said, they might have jumped on the bandwagon a bit too late. Like it's kind of, Teams is here, Zoom's here. We've got so many different platforms that you already use, and you've got all of those features kind of integrated already into those platforms. That great from LinkedIn to kind of introduce it, but it's also, you're not going to move over to that now. So yeah, it's an interesting one for sure.
Yeah, very interesting. I'll be intrigued to hear about how that goes for LinkedIn and whether it takes off or not. So our first DM is all about TikTok B2B, which is very relevant for today's podcast episode. And it reads, do you think TikTok has potential for B2B? I feel like this is a great question for you to answer, Tyler. So why don't you take it away?
Yeah, I think it's an interesting one. Firstly, because obviously, TikTok has generally been a very much like B2C, C to all of the other B2Cs and Cs to whatever's. It's not definitely focused around business, I would say. However, I think there's a great opportunity in terms of that, like with the introduction of like TikTok ads, and how they're kind of exploring that feature and kind of developing the app a bit more. I think it's similarly to Instagram. Obviously, it's not necessarily as, you know, B2B focused, but I definitely think there's opportunity for it to adapt to being, you know, a B2B platform. And if you as a business are wanting to, you know, reach out to other businesses, or even like, for instance, like content creators or like influencers and stuff like that, for me is still kind of, you know, a B2B element, because you would be working with them and you would, you know, kind of still be creating that content. But it's an interesting one. I don't know. Like, I think the opportunity's there, but it's kind of whether or not TikTok takes it and runs with it. But I don't know. I don't know if me personally, if I was, you know, working for a brand or a business, I don't know if TikTok would be my go-to platform in terms of, you know, interacting with other brands or businesses, and sharing that content with them. So I definitely think the opportunity's there in terms of like ads and kind of how they're developing the platform. But I don't know if it's going to go that way. It's an interesting one.
Interesting. No, thank you for that, Tyler. So our second DM this week is also about TikTok. Again, very relevant. And it reads, there always seems to be a new TikTok trend. How can I stay on top of them? I think this is a really, really good question because, you know, like we were saying, there is always a new TikTok trend and it can be really difficult to stay on top of the latest trends and get involved with them. I mean, my sort of tip for this would be to use your Discover page. So use that to find out which hashtags are trending, which videos are coming up top, which sounds are being used. And I think from then you'll probably be able to see a lot of content that is trending. I also think follow celebrities and like not even just celebrities, but TikTok creators like that have a high following, because they're most likely staying on top of trends. So when you see them post something within trend, you'll know that it potentially could go viral and could become a trend. So jumping on that. Don't know if you guys have anything to add to those top tips.
I would say when you're on TikTok watching it yourself, if you see, it's so easy to be watching and be like, oh, I love that trend, and then go on and it's so difficult to find again. Like you've forgotten what it's called, or you've forgotten the song name, or you're searching it and you just can't find it. So I would say save, and actually this is one I got from Chloe a little while ago, so I can't take all the credit, but save the sounds as you hear them. Don't let don't scroll on from it until you've saved the sound, and or even like screen recorded the video if you know if you want to do that. But don't let a trend go if it's something that you'll want to make for your own TikTok at a later point, because you almost certainly won't find it again until it pops up randomly. So I would say that's a way. I guess that's not a way to find them as such. It's more how to remember them, and a little top tip for not losing them, because I do find that with TikTok it's harder to find maybe than Instagram to find trends again, and obviously it is one that you want to be able to go on and, you know, record directly from the sound. So I would say that's my addition to that.
No, I 100% agree. Definitely. And I think also, like, I think you might have mentioned it, Laura, using like hashtags and stuff, and researching those hashtags, because as much as, you know, you get the generic, you know, FYP or like For You page, like there are certain hashtags that will go around trending at times where they'll just blow up for no reason. And they could be the most random hashtag as well. But I think just keeping on top of that and like researching them and making sure that you're kind of like following all of those like relevant hashtags in terms of the content that you want to produce or like the trend that you want to jump on, I think is a great way also to keep on top of it. Yeah, definitely.
Cool, thank you. Those are our top DMs for this week. Hopefully we answered all of your questions. If you'd like to be featured in next week's episodes, then make sure you slide into our DMs on Instagram. That's at GiraffeSM. that is all we have time for today, sadly. But if you've enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, or follow us if you're listening on Spotify. We'd love to hear what you thought about today's episode, so make sure you reach out on social media and let us know if you have any additional top tips to get brand yourself or brands on the For You page. We have been Giraffe Social Media. You have been amazing. We will see you next time.